In tennis, there are 4 performance factors. These are the areas that have to be developed in order for a player to be able to reach or maximise their potential. The 4 performance factors are technical, tactical, physical, and mental. Now, I'd be pretty confident that your child in your tennis program is getting help from the coach on the technical and possibly on the tactical areas of the game. And it might also be that your child is doing some additional physical training to help to develop the coordination skills and all the other physical attributes needed to be able to play tennis. But what about the mental skills? Well, in my view, the mental skills are often the forgotten performance factor, but in many ways, they're also the most important. I'm going to outline to you some of the reasons why working on mental skills is so important, and some of the reasons why tennis is such a challenging sport to play from a mental point of view. Did you know that in tennis, it's possible to win more points than your opponent and still lose the match? That's because in tennis, there are certain key points that have to be won in order to win the match. So it's important for the players to be able to raise their performance physically and mentally for those big points. Number 2, tennis by its nature is a stop-start sport. And you may not be aware that in a typical tennis match, the ball is only in play for around 30% of the time. That means that for the other 70%, the players are either between points, between games, or between sets. That's a lot of thinking time, and therefore coaches need to help their players with strategies and to know what to do between points. Thirdly, tennis is an individual sport. Now, of course, in doubles, you'll have your teammate on the court with you, but in singles, you're on your own. And for young children, that can be a stressful and a difficult position to be in. They have to be able to problem solve. They have to be able to deal with the highs and lows and the emotions of the tennis match. They have to do everything themselves without any help or support. Fourth, there's the question of time. Now, in some sports, there's a clock and we play to the clock. In football, for example, we play for the 90 minutes plus any added time by the referee. And the team can be in possession if they're winning and hold on to the ball until they can run down the clock. They might even use some tricks or some strategies to be able to waste time. But in tennis, you can't do that. In tennis, you have to play until the final point is won. There is no clock. You can't waste time. You can't slow down play. You have to play until the end, and the last point has to be won. Now, in tennis, all points are important, but actually it's also true to say that some points are more important than others. We call them the big points. There are many examples. 30 all could be a big point. Advantage could be a big point. Deuce could be a big point. The game point, the set point, the match point. Players need to be aware what the big points are, and they need to be able to raise their performance both physically and mentally to be able to play those key points at their best. And finally, number 6. A typical tennis match can be an emotional roller coaster. All the highs and lows, the ups and downs that happen in a typical tennis match. And of course, young children are neither experienced or equipped to be able to deal with all those emotions. The longest tie-break in tennis history lasted for 42 points. That means that both players were winning and losing points, winning and losing again, until finally one of the two players won 2 points in a row to finish the set. That's a great example of how frustrating and how challenging tennis can be from a mental point of view. So remember, there are 4 performance factors in tennis: technical, tactical, physical, and mental. So next time you have a chat with your coach, ask them what their view is on how to develop the mental skills in the game and what you can do to help your child to deal with the emotional roller coaster that is presented by a typical tennis match.